Go.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and we're at the Muhammad Ali Boxing Training Center at Mundo Boxing Gym here in Miami, and you're watching True School Sports. The untouchable True School Sports Empire. Brendan Taylor here. I'm here with Walter Alvarez, great boxing manager. Walter, you've been around the fight game for so long. For the people out there that don't know you, tell them about your background in the sport.
All right, in boxing, because I'm an all-around guy. My son plays for the Marlins, and he was an Olympic.
Is it Eddie Alvarez, the sprinter?
Eddie.
Yeah, wow, okay, yeah.
That's my boy. So, but I've been involved in boxing since about the 1970s, and I was partners with Tuto Zavala, the old
All-Star
Tuto.
Boxing.
Well, not his dad. Dad. And then back in '82, I promoted Alexis Agruello versus Pryor, and that was perhaps one of the biggest fights ever. Certainly in Florida, it was the biggest fight. We did that at the Orange Bowl, and since then I promoted Roberto Duran and Tommy Hearns. I promoted Sugar Ray Leonard, so I promoted, quite a few of the big name fighters. I promoted in Miami, and I promoted in Las Vegas. Vegas, I did, I think, Agruello Pryor too, and I did Duran, Hearns, and so I've been involved, in the promotion business and in the managing business. I manage a couple of kids that will fight tonight, and Islam Machado is 16-0, and Chris Otero is like 2-0, and now I got back into the game like maybe a few years ago. And I work with Zavala and I work with Henry. They're both great people, and I love working with Henry. I'm more in the management of fighters side. I partnered with MTK Global. That's a big promotion company, and we opened up a gym, MTK, and so we're off to the races.
Yeah, sounds like you got quite a lot going on.
It's a long history. I promoted like maybe 16 championship fights. And the big names,
big time boxing
of the past, Alexis Agruello, Pryor, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Israel Contreras, Wilfredo Vasquez. There's a big list of ex-champions that I promoted.
How did you get into the boxing promotions business?
I was running at Tropical Park. I was a marathoner back then in the 70s, and I always sneaked in the gym. I was a fan. My cousin, my political cousin, was Frankie Otero.
Okay.
He was like the big draw back in the 70s, and I helped him out with his career. He fought Ken Buchanan, and so I got involved with Frankie. And then the bug bit me, I guess. And then I continue managing fighters. Then I partnered up with Tuto Zavala, started promoting, and one thing led to the other.
Okay. You mentioned the Agruello Pryor fight, and that's one of the most famous fights, iconic fights in boxing history, at the Orange Bowl. What do you remember about actually being there that night and promoting the fight?
Well, I was on the business side because I promoted the fight, so I didn't enjoy the fight.
Okay.
I was more worried about the light gate and all the logistics. We drew like 25,000 people to the Orange Bowl in spite of HBO not being able to black the fat out in Miami. So, it was a hell of a fight, and it became like the thing to do in Miami for 6 months. Everybody was talking about the fight. We had deals with airlines, travel agents, and it was a big thing. And I think it kind of became an iconic time for Miami boxing,
Yeah, Miami is like it's a city with a lot of history. A lot of people don't know that Miami and the South Florida area has a lot of history. How do you feel like about the state of boxing in South Florida now and Miami now?
It looks like it may be coming back. Back in the 80s, I bought the 5th Street Gym from Angelo Dundee.
Oh, wow.
From Chris Dundee. We bought it and we kept it for a while. And we had some Cuban fighters like Luis Rodriguez and Florentino Fernandez, and that was their house. And so those were the golden times of Miami boxing, The fights were held at the Miami Beach Convention Center, and the crowds were big. And then it died down for a while, and now it seems to be coming back thanks to the guys like Henry.
Yeah.
You know, so it's coming back, and I want to be part of it. You know.
Seems like he's put together quite a event here tonight. We'll see how it goes.
I think it's a heck of an event, and I think it will be the beginning of a new era. You know, I think Henry's got it together. He's a great promoter, and he was with the Hard Rock before. We worked together because I have a couple of fighters that fought at the Hard Rock, and they're ranked in the world. And now he's by himself. So I'm going to support Henry throughout.
Did you have a personal relationship with Alexis Agruello at all? Like working fights with him?
We became personal friends, which is not always a good thing with fighting.
Yeah, mixing business with pleasure.
Yeah. So, you know, I developed a friendship with Alexis and with Roberto Duran, and it didn't always work for the best. But you know, I enjoy the time with Alexis, and that's before they became real famous. You know, then they started behaving in their own way, and you know, I became real good friends with Aaron Pryor as well. To me, one of the greatest ever. And again, you know, it didn't mix up with the business.
Yeah.
You know, boxing promoters supposedly don't mix with the personal lives of athletes, but you know, I did.
Okay. What was like Agruello and Duran and Pryor? What were they like as people behind the scenes, outside the ring?
Totally crazy.
All of them?
All of them. You know, each in its own way. Duran had a big entourage. You know, he had a healer. He had a...
You say healer?
Brujero. You know, more of a black magic guy.
Yeah.
With him, and he had an entourage. You know, which was his doom, because you know they all ate up all the money. You know, and Alexis had a lot of women. You know, which I don't know which is worse, but. Those days were different, you know. Fighters came up from poverty, and all of a sudden they were superstars. And nowadays they're smarter, you know. They have advisors and they take care of their money, you know. Before, but they were great guys. I mean, Alexis was a super guy, and Roberto is a super guy. They're sweet, they're friendly, they're loyal, but the entourage, you know, it's not the best, you know, company that they can keep.
How about Aaron Pryor? Because like a lot of times people paint him as a bad guy and whatnot in the documentaries and stuff I watch. Like
Aaron was a womanizer, and the drugs beat him. You know, to me, Aaron was the best. He could have been the best fighter ever. You know, he had more talent than he knew what to do with. Unfortunately, he came hooked to crack cocaine. And that was the end of him, you know. And as much as I try to help him out, I would pull him out of all these crack houses, and I even send him to the Netherlands Antilles, you know, to avoid the people here. But he found the drug, and once you become addicted to the drug, you're a slave to it, you know. So Aaron was a special guy, but the special addiction, you know, took his life.
Yeah. Took his life. Those are like some really magical fighters, and those are magical times in boxing. Speaking as somebody who's been in the boxing promotion business for a while, you know, boxing is kind of like, in mainstream wise, it's not as mainstream as it used to be. What do you think boxing has to do to get back to like how it was when you were promoting back in the day?
Yeah, it will never get back to it because there's so much competition right now. You know, there's a whole bunch of in those days it was boxing and closed circuit. So, you know, you would fill up all the closed circuit arenas, and now there's pay-per-view, there's HBO, there's DAZN, there's ESPN Plus. So it's very diluted. Before there was only one champion in each division. Now there's like, you know, many different champions. So it will never get back to those days, because boxing before obligated you to match the best against the best. I mean, Ray Leonard against Roberto Duran, Ray Leonard against Tommy Hearns, Tommy Hearns against Marvin Hagler.
Ray Leonard versus Benitez.
You know, yeah. Right. And now it depends on who promotes who and all the politics involved. I don't think it'll, but it still has a niche. And I think now there's MMA too.
That's true.
And MMA is drawing big crowds, and it's a good sport. But I think boxing can still do real good. And what we need is people like Henry to dare to run shows like this. I think boxing will be reborn. Will do good.
I hope so, man. Because
it'll work out. Not as before, but it'll work out.
Yeah, because I look at these guys like take a Terrence Pryor, for example. The guy could fight his ass off. Guy's one of the best fighters in the world.
Yes.
And, not many people in America outside of the boxing hardcores really know who he is. So
yeah, no, that's right. Before, who didn't know who Roberto Duran was, or who didn't know who Tommy Hearns was? So, it was more centralized. And now, like you have Crawford is a great guy. You have a whole bunch of people that are real good, very talented, but people don't know him.
Yeah.
There's so many different, entertainment in sports. So the NBA has grown up, the national NFL has grown up, MMA. So now it's a little different, but we'll get there. We'll find our niche.
absolutely. All right, Walter. Well, any message to the boxing world that you want to give before we end the interview?
I think boxing is the greatest sport because it's a one-on-one, and you don't depend on your teammates. It's all you. It's how much work you put in it, how much you train. If you're gifted, dedication is a gift, and I think it's a pure sport, as pure as any other sport could be or more. So I think boxing will stay, and I encourage fans to become boxing fans, because once you get bit by the bug, you never let go. It's such a great sport.
Yeah, you're never the same.
You're never the same. You always, and it's entertaining. It's exciting. It's dynamic, and it's fun. So
it really is.
I think it's the sport that will never ever die.
I agree 1,000%, man, and thank you for telling me them stories and kind of passing down
my pleasure.
what you know.
Anytime.
Yeah. All right, Walter Alvarez, a boxing legend in Miami, and just a great person overall. Thank you, Walter, for talking to True School Sports.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Christina Poncher here, and you're watching True School Sports.